Do you ever think about how sometimes you can recognize a person just by their footsteps or the way that they knock on a door? How sometimes the smell of rain is just so obvious that you forge what summer feels like? Or how on some days all you need to do is to come back home, back to the same place and the same people. See, these are the things that feel so inherent familiar. Familiarity makes me feel more powerful, more in control, even when I'm not. Because my life is also filled with unfamiliar things like fear and uncertainty and newness, and probably even the troubles of not knowing where I'm going wrong. But you see, it seems that familiarity has become both the boon and the being of my existence. It is the heaviest contradiction I've ever come across. Because I've seen myself doing things just because they are familiar. I've seen myself waiting at the airport for someone who's never going to get on the flight with me. The waiting was familiar, the pain was not. I've seen myself ignore repeated patterns of disappointments until they didn't matter anymore. I've seen love and war be the exact same thing, yet neither felt like my own. But even some of the more important parts of my life have not been familiar. Like 3 years ago, I felt at one with loneliness, and being alone neither has been proven to be a bad thing, so I embraced it. But on some of those days, I felt like a train leaving for the wrong station, and all the others, I felt like a thief, guilty for no reason. 2 years ago, I moved into a new house and I saw no trees outside my window. But instead, I found the sea. It was a little far away, but I could still see it, and somehow it made me calmer than the rustling leaves ever did. 1 year ago, I started saying goodbye to the people I spent my entire life with. And this year I decided to be unconditional, and I loved myself. Even on the days I cried for no reason, it didn't feel natural, but I did it at these things once, then twice, then over and over again. Like right now, on this new stage with strangers around me, I'm standing here telling all of you my secrets, and I still feel at home. See, I can't promise you that, like always, this poem will end in a resolution or even an acceptance. I think this poem will just end when it wants to, when it starts feeling familiar with itself. Because if you think about it, if you really think about it, nothing ever starts off as familiar. It just becomes so. Familiarity is this sense of being that is unlike any of us. It is strong and powerful, and I want to be like that. I want to know enough about myself to be so sure of the things that I do, so that when they happen, even the wrong feels right, and the unknown, it starts feeling familiar.